Hey, welcome in. How was your summer? Good? Yeah, mine was pretty good. I mean, besides like getting beat up on the bridge, Coronado Bridge, getting, tried for murder, doing pranks with the boys, getting dumped. But, I got a new girlfriend. She's my friend's stepmom, but it's okay. I think I'm canonically 18 now. So, yeah, it's all good here at Life on Mars, the Veronica Mars rewatch podcast. We go through episode by episode. I'm Brenton.
I'm Emily.
And welcome to season 2. The most calm, easygoing, just, there's not much happening. It's crazy that it's this relaxed of a season opener.
You know what that makes me think of is every time we visit your parents and we see the Life's Rad Carlsbad filter on Snapchat. I mean, I guess I haven't had Snapchat for a long time, but when we did Snapchat.
I'm sure there's a Instagram filter. Yeah, probably.
Location based. Life's Rad Carlsbad. And I'm just like, they just got like some flower fields and it's just like a chill place to be. And then it's like, oh, bad shit happens. I didn't want to spoil the end. Even though if you're listening to this, you probably watched the episode or don't care about spoilers, because eventually in this episode we're going to get to that.
Yeah, God. I mean, just from the jump, we've got a lot on our plate. They hit the accelerator.
What does normal as a watchword mean?
I have no idea.
Oh, I was really hoping you would know.
I looked up the notes and it's just like, it was super unhelpful in Wikipedia. It was just like, yeah, it's the word that it's just a saying that Wallace and like Veronica have been throwing back and forth. It's like, well, thank you for that. I do know that, which was annoying. Did not help me.
Yeah.
But it is not normal in Neptune.
Never has been, never will be.
No, I mean, things don't happen on accident. But my God, is this just cranked up to 11?
Well, so what I've realized that I love about teen dramas is that they are soap operas without the sepia filter.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because soap operas are always, or at least they used to always be filmed in like what seemed like a dimmed down colored set.
Yeah,
It visually wasn't exciting.
But
the story was like fucking wild.
Right, and the frames of a soap opera are just through the roof.
Yeah. And this is nothing but extra.
Yeah, totally. Like,
I have a bone to pick.
Okay, go for it.
The Veronica Logan, I didn't even want to say his name. Duncan. I couldn't remember.
You must not be named.
Duncan love triangle is infuriating.
Yeah, awful.
And like Duncan all of a sudden is like a nice, normal, kind human being. Like he's not awkward or weird or like, why is he so normal? Like if he had been the character that he is to Veronica in this episode, the entire first season, it would be a completely different story.
Absolutely.
But he's like, we're chill. Like, it's fine. Like, you don't have to apologize to Meg. Like, like just like totally like not Dunky.
No, I'm well adjusted now. Fits.
Yeah.
They're behind me. What fits?
What sister that died?
Exactly.
Oh, my best friend's dad murdered her. That's why we don't talk?
Right. And then...
Or is it because we're dating? Like, they make it sound like it's because the Veronica Logan Duncan thing happened that the boys don't talk. But it's like, it has to be because Logan's dad murdered his sister.
Probably. Right. There's like a million other reasons for them not to talk. But also at the same time, like... Yeah, it's not like, oh, I guess it's just because it's when you date their best friend. It's like, I think there's a lot more there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't like it at all. I have a background information on the show that I'm going to save that is just going to make you mad.
What do you mean?
It's spoiler, so we'll get to it, or I'll talk about it off mic.
Oh, okay.
But about that specific love triangle piece that just makes no sense.
Like, can't we just write him off the show? Like, oh, they moved.
Right. I mean, his parents did to the house in Napa.
I know.
That does sound nice.
I want to move to our house in Napa.
Right.
We could get a house in Napa.
We could.
It's not by the ocean, though.
We can't, but we could.
We will. We can. You just say it like you're going to.
Yeah. Oh, we have the house in Napa.
Mm-hmm.
We moved there and left our son.
We left Herman?
Oh. Don't tell him.
Is he our Duncan? No, he doesn't have a sister.
Okay, he does. It fits.
Brenton.
Yeah, that's bad. But yeah, that line, I in the background information on the season, it's like, yeah, Rob Thomas wanted to move forward with new characters, like new things, so like that the Canes and Eccles didn't fit into it. So that's why there's like all this dialogue in the show of like, yeah, my parents are now up in Napa, or like dialogue about Trina, how Trina's no longer around, like she's trying to do this. Like, so it's like writing them away in a sense, which is funny. But so I was thinking before we jumped in, we'll give a little bridge from season 1 to season 2.
Okay.
So when Veronica Mars was renewed in the first season, it was the lowest rated show in network history to be renewed. And
I am offended.
Yeah. Well, it's because it was on UPN, right? And it was like super low ratings. But for some reason, UPN believed in Veronica Mars and literally 0 other dramas that they aired, because it was the only drama on their network that got a second or that moved on to the next television season. Everything else got canceled or like were finished up.
Did it have a cult following already after that first season?
Yeah.
Because I just feel like it's one of those things where it was like, by the grace of like positive thinking, like a small group of people have just pushed it so far. Right. And I am proud to be reaping the benefits of their hard work, because at this time I was watching Gilmore Girls and going to dance class, and that was it.
So yeah, I was not watching this. But I mean, UPN I had barely even heard of. I knew they ran reruns, but I didn't know they had like original programming. So I think that's like just another giant thing working against this. So it is good that there was that cult classic following, and also that the network is like, yeah, we want to follow along with this.
What was the channel that Burn Notice was on?
USA.
I always got UPN and USA confused, which now makes a lot of sense, because I was like, oh, they're just like showing serials of these shows. And then I was like, I'm not going to like that. That's like a... we're going to dabble into some early 2000s sexism here. This feels like very masculine television shows, and I don't want to watch man TV.
So let's see. What did USA have? Are you you're thinking of USA?
Yeah. Well, both. I think I just pushed them all together in my brain.
Well, so UPN did have America's Next Top Model. That's where it started.
So I was watching this. I used to spend my weekend. So then again, I watch the reruns usually. And
also, so the next year is when UPN and WB merged to become the CW. So that may be when you picked up America's Next Top Model.
I think I was already watching reruns of it on other channels, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. Syndication.
My favorite season of America's Next Top Model, they did Petite, so they did girls under 5'5".
Oh.
Because there is like a small segment, but it was like the strangest thing. And I was like, oh, I could be a model. Then I was like, oh no, you're still supposed to look like you're 6 foot if you put the camera on the ground. So I'm like, oh, never mind. This will not work for me. I need America's Next Top Normal. Not saying they're not normal. You're dying.
We're good.
You sure?
Yeah.
Some water?
I was worried that it might become a whole thing, but it wasn't. Just making noise. But so in its second season, Veronica Mars was moved to Wednesday nights, which was placed it in competition with the show I was watching at the time, which was Lost.
Oh God.
Yeah, which is just awful. Like
Lost time.
Yeah, exactly. Like why? That's well, I guess I don't know why you would ever put like your continuing show up against Lost.
What year was this?
2004, or second season was 2005, 2006.
So I was in junior high.
That would have been like third season of Lost or something.
I do know for the very last season, was it Gilmore Girls and Seventh Heaven? They all got moved to the CW. But I don't think that was this time yet. No, that's third season, Veronica Mars. Yeah, because that's when, because in the end, Rory's going to go work on this new up-and-coming guy's campaign, Barack Obama.
How strange. What a time capsule.
He was running for president.
Right.
But, he was some new guy and nobody knew him, so easier for her to get an internship.
which is
Even
tremendous.
Yeah, and I'm like, but Rory wrote an essay about Hillary. I will die on this hill. In continuities, but I mean, I guess,
Right. Yeah, that is weird.
But it's funny.
It is funny. But it was placed after America's Next Top Model, so
You got some tag-alongs.
yeah, like trying to boost ratings, I think, is one way of doing that.
I feel like that would have been when I saw like half episode, like, because sometimes I'd watch like parts of the show and have no idea what's going on.
Right. Oh, that would totally make sense. You watched America's Next Top Model, and then
I went and got dinner, and then I sat back down, and then I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
huh?
And then I'm like, "Who's the dog?"
Yeah, love backup.
It's a lot of boys. I don't really know.
Right. So yeah, that's kind of the lead in there. And we get a lot of new people coming into the show.
We do.
Um,
And some of the worst ADR.
oh God.
Isn't this entire season that way? I feel like it's this season that's just like got the worst ADR.
I think it is. I didn't remember when you said that last night, and then it was just like, oh God, like you can't not notice it once you see it, like in the bus.
I can't not notice it everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's one of those things, like, for me, even sometimes, like, on Instagram stories, like, it'll load and, like, the video will be off from the audio, and I can't fucking look because it just pains me. Like, and it's like my brain can't handle that this is supposed to be real time, and then it's not.
Right.
It's like, it feels like it's lied to, and it just shuts down.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to close my eyes.
Yeah, it's rough.
It makes me nauseous.
Oh, I can
Like,
totally
motion sick,
Oh,
in a
God.
sense.
Uh-huh. You're like, nah, this doesn't sync up.
Yeah, it's weird.
But joining this 80-yard cast is Kristen Ritter in her first big TV role, I think, as she puts it, who goes on to such great things as guest starring on Gilmore Girls.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
And also, Jessica Jones and the short-lived Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 13.
Mm-hmm.
Then we also get Steve Guttenberg as her father
Yes.
of Police Academy fame. And Charisma Carpenter in a thankless role as Kendall Casablancas, who only grows more insufferable by the episode.
Honestly, like this, I forgot about this arc too, and I'm like, oh God,
That's
like
brutal.
the kid wanting to hook up with his friend's hot stepmom is just such a waste of energy and space in the world.
Right, and to make it Logan is just such a
Stacy's
black
Mom's
hole.
a great song. It's not a great show.
Right.
And it's because he can't actually have Stacy's mom. Once you let the kid have the thing they want, it becomes gross.
Yeah, it's gross.
It's gross.
It is 100% gross, and it's stupid male wish fulfillment.
Yeah. Once again, I feel like maybe when the show was designed, it was a way for a specific man to potentially live out some of his fantasies.
There's so much bro-isms happening this episode. It is tough.
But Veronica doesn't stand for that shit.
No,
You want to go light your pool on fire, by all means do it. Don't light
Right.
the community pool.
Yeah. It's Dick Casablancas is the worst. So he can be fun as a foil, but when it is just Logan and Dick saying stupid, shitty things, it sucks.
Well, and what's so fun about Dick is that he is the one character. Like, when one character is just a total fucking asshole, you're like, okay, that's fine. Like, you have a set of standards and, like, a low bar. But when another character oscillates between that and then being a good person, it's just whiplash.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because you're like, who are you?
Right. And I know he's supposed to be going through a hard time, but it's like...
So don't fuck your friend's stepmom.
It's just the mode is gross, yeah.
So that's my... In
Yep.
case any of you were planning on it out there, please do not sleep with your friend's stepmom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The object.
Yes, exactly. And that they make her into an object. Oh, I have a lot of
Yeah,
issues.
and they just make her so shrill.
This
It's
whole...
like-
There's also weird body language between a lot of people in this episode.
Oh, interesting.
There's a lot of weird physicalities that I'm like, oh, I don't like the Veronica Leo. We can get to it when we do.
Oh, right.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
I remember you made a sound.
It was very uncomfortable. Okay, are we ready to start?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready to get going.
We open with Veronica working her job at a coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
Was it the same one that Blair Waldorf? What's her name on this show?
Yeah. Crap.
Leighton Meester.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Well, Carrie Bishop.
Thank you.
Carrie Bishop. I think, is it the same one she worked at or no?
It looks like it.
If not, they use the same set.
And it also looks like the place where she does the karaoke.
Yeah.
For the Tritons.
So she's working. Veronica is like, at first I thought she's a hostess, but it looks like she's also serving tables. So I don't really know what she's doing, but it's also a cafe. So who the fuck knows?
Right. It kind of looked like, yeah. Just a cafe where it's like, oh, we'll set you down and then I'll come over and take your order.
And this kid Calvin comes in, and Calvin's on a sports team. Which one? I'm not sure.
I believe football.
Yeah, I don't know. And so
trying to remember the board that Wallace puts up later. I believe it's football.
He comes in. He's like, Veronica, like, you know that mystery Scooby-Doo thing you do. I need you to help me because I failed my drug test. And she's like, you do drugs. And he's like, I stopped doing drugs. And she's like, do you like my retelling?
Yes.
You stopped doing drugs. And she's like, no, you didn't. So then she makes him swear to her that he stopped doing drugs, and he said he did. And she's like, I don't fucking know, but whatever. And he's like, oh, well, just because you got yourself a rich 09er boyfriend, like, you're one of them now. You're not one of us anymore. And she's like, no, you used to do drugs.
Right. That plot specifically is weird. Like, I understand people being pissed at her for not helping out people anymore. You know, I can understand them being mad, but them taking umbrage with her that she's like dating 09ers, it's like, what do you think she's been doing the past year? And even before then, she dated Duncan and dated Logan.
Well, and
then back to Duncan.
That's what Weevil says. He says, oh, was everyone saying last year was just a show?
Right. But like
because they thought she had changed. Like, she went from being one of them to one of the non-09er people. And then
right.
They're like, well, you're not now. So like, you thought you could be, they feel betrayed. Yeah. They feel like she was their shining star and then she got taken away.
Yes.
But women aren't objects.
I completely understand that. But it's just, she's been dating 09ers. There's been no change in her dating life.
Yeah. And she did date the one rich kid. What was his name? I liked him. And then we found out he was selling drugs. Troy Boy.
Yeah. Yeah, running drug. Also, I just looked up. Apparently, his name was not Calvin. It was Kelvin.
Why?
I know. No idea. I wrote down Calvin in all my notes.
Me too.
And looked it up now, and it's like, oh, that's Kelvin.
Calvin. Well, whatever. As long as we call him by the name he wants to be called by, that's what matters.
Yeah, I texted him. And he's like, it's Kelvin, dude.
Perfect. Okay, Kelvin. And then we get Keith showing up on the TV at the cafe.
Yes.
Because he wrote a book about Lily.
Big Murder, Small Town.
Well, my favorite thing, you know who's interviewing him, is the woman who does the post-house interviews on Big Brother.
Right. So I wrote that. I'm like, is that Julie Chen?
It is Julie Chen. And this is Big Brother. And Keith had been voted out of the house.
Exactly. So apparently she's married to Les Moonves.
I don't know who that is.
He runs CBS.
Oh.
So apparently that's why she's like showing up here. It's because they own UPN. He was a UPN exec at the time. But is now the chairman and CBO of CBS, I think.
Nice.
I think that's how that works.
And then we get a Logan flashback of Logan and Weevil.
Yeah.
Weevil comes up to Logan. We ended the series finale with Logan standing on the bridge, debating, just doing some irreversible damage on himself. And then Weevil shows up and wants to fight.
Mm-hmm.
And so Logan kicks Weevil in the face and knocks him out, which I'm like,
Yeah.
Weevil's the one way you're not going to die around these people.
That's why crap, I forget who ends up dying. I need to find his name real quick. Is like, oh, you have no idea, you don't realize what you just did.
Alonzo, right?
I think so. You can continue.
He wakes up with a bloody knife in his hand and a dead guy across from him, who I believe is Alonzo. And so then in the flashback we get, so when the show ended in the finale, we hear Veronica go, I was hoping it would be you. And then we turn around, it's a bloody Logan.
Right. That's pretty quick in this episode to reveal that.
Mm-hmm. Well, because there's a lot more ground we got to cover.
Yeah, that's true. Let's get that out of the way.
And then Logan tells her how he's upset. He does basically the monologue Brenton opened with.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then
but like, yeah, I heard on the radio that it was my dad that killed Lily, and I'm in a lot of pain right now from getting beat up. Like, and you dumped me. This sucks.
I have a knife.
Yeah, I have a lot of problems. So many.
And so then Leo shows up to arrest Logan, and we get the most uncomfortable scene I've ever witnessed on television, which is him being like, Veronica, I know his car's out there. I know he's here. And I'm like, it's a small fucking town. Why would you send Leo?
Right.
Like, there are other sheriffs.
Well, because I think Leo would be the one to tactfully do this of like, hey, let me in. He's in there. Whereas you get Lamb, you're going to get a door bust down, or she's going to say he's not there.
And Leo sees Logan on the couch and comes in to get him, and he caresses Veronica's face and like holds her head. And it's the strangest thing I have ever seen.
My exes always hold my head.
Like, it's like was it supposed to be like, oh, see, like, what did you leave me for? I wouldn't have you in this mess.
Oh, I read it
head
as
hold.
I read it as a it's gonna be okay kind of head hold.
Oh, I don't think there are any it's gonna be okay head holds.
That's how I read it, but it doesn't mean like this is the thing that happens.
And it's so uncomfortable.
It is.
It's wildly uncomfortable. Like, oh God. And so then they take Logan away. And then we come back to present day. And we're first day of senior year.
Yeah.
Our BFF Wally walks up to us. And Wallace is like, I failed the drug test.
Lots of weed jokes. Really like boring weed jokes in this.
Yeah. And then he's like, yeah, and so did. And he basically, everyone who wasn't an 09er failed. And then one 09er failed.
Yes.
And that's Meg.
Damn it, Meg.
And then does Veronica go talk to Meg yet? Or no. Then Duncan comes back and tells us that his mom and dad moved up to the Napa house.
Right.
We get a flashback with Logan's major facial scar, which is Veronica working at the cafe.
Yes.
And the woman, so the recurring theme that they do is it's like the woman who she works for is like, oh, your boyfriend's here. And then every time it's a different one. Which is so fucking annoying.
Yeah. It's like this weird misdirect. Yeah.
And so,
that sucks.
So Duncan comes in, or no, Logan comes in. Or is this where she breaks up with Logan?
No. So, it's like, hey, like, there's this guy over there that says he knows you, and it's Duncan, like, sitting there, and it's like, oh, yeah, I know that guy. And I put, yeah, I know that weirdo sitting in my section.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So then we find out that Duncan's just, like, coming in every day to sit there and watch her work.
Yeah, exactly. And he talks about his parents leaving and blah, blah, blah. And then Logan comes in with the gnarly scar, and then we get the quote of... I was like, they don't really talk anymore. Like, must be because like we dated.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh yeah, definitely not because his dad murdered his sister.
Right. Or yeah, God.
There's a lot of trauma in there. And then we go back to school and we look into this drug thing, and Veronica goes up to Kelvin
with this awesome digital camera. She's taking all these pictures.
Oh yeah, she's asking everyone who failed, like,
Mhm.
you know, if there's someone that was out to get them.
Yes.
And Kelvin's like, yeah, this kid Butters, I pantsed him in PE or whatever.
Yeah.
Or after school, after the pep rally, in front of all these other people.
Yeah, because he's doing something that pissed him off.
Mm-hmm.
And then he swore he was going to get his revenge.
Yeah, and I'm like, you dumb fuck.
Yeah. No, he's a bully.
Yeah.
And then before we get to Kelvin, the girl who played volleyball talks about how, because Veronica's going around asking everybody, like, hey, like, who are your enemies? Wallace asks outside of the clan, like, but she mentions that they have this rental house that these people, like, go down and stay at, and like something happened there and they weren't going to pay back like all this like money, like
Boatloads of Fun Corporation.
Loads of Fun Corporation. Yes.
Boatloads of Fun Corp had decided that they were doing like an offsite there and the roof leaked in one room, so they asked for all the money back and just like went after them.
There you go. Thank you.
And then Veronica's like, oh, I should talk to, I used to have one 09er that was my friend and nice to me, and I trusted her.
Let me try it again.
She goes to talk to Meg, and Meg is fucking sassy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And she's like, yeah.
Have some goddamn empathy, Meg. She was almost killed.
Yeah, but in her eyes, she's like, Veronica came back and stole my boyfriend.
Yes. But Veronica was almost killed.
And then she went back to the one she didn't even almost get killed for. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
No, yeah.
I mean, Veronica's
real fucking downgrade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have thought today that if you think of a guy dating a woman and you go like, oh, good for him, and then you think of a woman dating that same guy and you go, oh, she's dating him, then like you're in a real sorry situation.
What do you mean?
Duncan dating Veronica. Oh wow, he's dating Veronica. Good for him. Veronica dating Duncan. Oh God, really? She's dating him.
I get you.
Yeah, because there's like certain ways where we like think about like relationships like that, where it's like, wow, cool, good for them, and then like the other side where it's just like, oh really? She's dating him.
Yes, and so Meg is fucking sassy. She's mad. She's pissed.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, I thought there, at least she's like, Meg, is there anyone who would come after you? And she's like, well, there's one person that would have the skills to do it, and blah blah blah, and basically tries to accuse Veronica.
Right.
And
just sassing it back.
And then we get a flashback.
Yep.
Of Logan's trial.
Yes. Trial of the century.
Yeah.
The glove didn't fit.
The glove didn't fit, so they had to acquit. So Logan got off, and then everyone was like, okay, now the entire town is divided between the haves and have-nots, because this one rich kid sets the tone for the entire fucking town, whose dad murdered his girlfriend. Like, even if he had killed someone, which I don't think he did, I honestly don't remember the conclusion to that, so I couldn't actually tell you. But like,
we're along for the ride.
I don't think he killed anyone.
No.
But like, his dad murdered his girlfriend and he found out, and then his new girlfriend's the one who caught his dad. Like, there's a lot going on.
Totally. And also, I feel like that's such a narcissistic point of view for Veronica. The only actions we see like that have changed is people coming after her. So she talks about how the town's like now super divided, but really the only thing that's like changed is that people that are in like as she assumes in a lower economic threshold than Logan are like now starting to act hostile to her. But we don't really get anything else of like Neptune boiling over. It's like her world is like now being more separated.
We do. Logan and the boys going out to light the fields on fire or whatever.
Oh, right.
Like, there's a turf war going on.
So I guess it's really just the rich people going after him.
Well,
because
and I'm sure Weevil and his friends are not taking it lying down.
Yeah, that's against them, you think?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's a little unclear, I guess, maybe at this point.
I don't think this really comes out until, honestly, that very last season when they really dig into, like, what happened to Neptune.
Right. But, yeah, right, like, to explain it this way, like, it's just not there other than, like, what's happening to Veronica. And you did mention the pool where they, like, literally just...
Well, and they put metal detectors in the school.
Yes. But that's not, like, a thing between like
it was because she said it was because of the class divide and like because people were getting violent.
It was because of the class divide?
And yeah.
Oh, really? I completely missed that then. I assumed that was because of, like, literally all the murder and stuff that happened
Oh,
the year
no.
before.
They were saying because, like, tensions were high between the 09ers and the haves and the have-nots.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't know about you. I didn't have metal detectors at school.
No, but I also didn't have, like, big high-profile murders happening either.
We had one, but it wasn't, like, at the school, and it wasn't, like, a person in my school.
Student or anything.
We had a lot of drug overdoses, too, or, like, car crashes, because, you know.
Really?
Live fast, die young. It's tragic, but that's what happens when there's nothing to do.
Fun.
But so we go back to Logan got off. Glove didn't fit, and then Wallace and Veronica are back at their house, right? At Veronica's house.
Did I
miss
think
anything?
we also get, like, just along with that, we get the attack in the car where they're, like, making out in Logan's car.
Isn't that later?
Okay, it could be later.
I don't know. Oh, maybe that is where it got, because Logan got off and then they get shot at.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're making out in Logan's car and then
they get shot
something. At. Yeah, exactly, shot at.
Which is terrifying.
Also,
like, you know, why your parents should let you make out in the house, because if you make out in the car, you might get shot.
Exactly. You come indoors and make out.
Exactly. You make out in this house.
Yeah. At least, you'll be safe if I'm around.
And so then we talk to Wallace about at Veronica's house. They talk about who is basically being attacked by this. Is this when they draw the board initially?
I think so.
Yeah. And it's got, like, each person that failed, and then, like, because they're all starting players, so then it's like who comes up when they aren't there. And we realize that it's Boatloads of Fun Corp, because Keith comes in to help us look into it.
Well, they don't know that quite yet, because
Yeah,
she goes and talks to Butters first.
Does she talk to Butters before that?
Must be.
Yeah, then they're not shot at the car until after that.
Oh, okay.
Because I have shot at the car and then the Boatloads of Fun Corp, and that's after Spirit Boxes.
See, yeah, okay, so the spirit boxes they discuss at Veronica's house, they think it might be the spirit boxes that Butters could have put, like, a small amount of weed in the cookies in the spirit boxes.
So then first we talk to, before we even have Wallace, and oh no, because he says we all saw Butters getting pantsed, and then your mother and I have an agreement, is what I have written down.
Right, okay.
That's because of the whole Keith and...
Yeah, so I have that Butters is before that. Because I have Butters is a horrible nightmare and a horrible nickname written. But I could be wrong.
I think because they talk about how it's a horrible nickname. And then I don't know, whatever. So, in other words, Wallace was like, hey, we all saw Butters get pants at school. And we all laughed. And Veronica's like, you don't think maybe that pissed him off? And she talks to Butters. And Butters is like, so what if I did go after them? Like, you can't do anything about it. And then Vice Principal Clemens walks by and you learn that Butters is Vice Principal Clemens' kid. Which is just like the most anticlimactic plot twist on the show.
Yeah. It's like, you can't, I'd like to see him come after me.
So then they break into the high school to find the test results to see if there's any sort of, like, if they were falsified by Butters in writing. And they're like, oh, like, nope, these are legitimate. Like, they were all done by Jim Chimmery.
Right. Which just seems like such a fake name. And they laugh about it, but I was assuming that would be a fake name reveal, which it was not.
Yes. And then he's like, well, maybe they drugged the spirit box cookies, but they did not. Wallace, so she makes Wallace do a drug test, and he is not. He's clean. And then we get the flashback of being shot at in the car, is what I have.
Okay. All right.
And then Veronica's like, yeah, you know, I love Logan, but I almost died. It's a little scary. And he's not over it.
No.
And then Veronica hypothesized that maybe Boatloads of Fun Corp, which is tied to all of the different people who now are starters because these kids drug tested out, bought off the testing facility.
Yeah.
And she puts one of my favorite quotes in here when she talks about, because then he asks her, she's also going on a field trip, And Wallace is like, are you going? And she's like, I love people. I'm a people person. And I'm like, yeah, Veronica, me too.
No, it's I love baseball.
No, but she says, I love people. I'm a people person. She says, no, I love baseball. Like, wasn't that the whole thing? Was that she was being sarcastic about it?
No. Wait, is this to Wallace or Keith?
To Wallace, I think.
I thought it was,
is it to Keith?
What do you mean, Wallace? I love baseball. And he's like, but you hate people.
And she's like, I love people. I'm a people person.
No.
It made me laugh. I wrote it down.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You okay over there?
Yeah.
And then we find out that Veronica and Duncan got back together for real.
Awful.
In a flashback.
Awful reveal.
This episode also has so many fucking flashbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like done like two separate timelines like tastefully. It's just like rapid flash. It's like being flushed down the drain.
Yeah.
And we find out that. Oh, we find this out because as they're getting ready to go on this baseball field trip with the journalism team, Logan walks up to them and he's like, young love. And Logan looks at Veronica and he's like, I'm going to miss you.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, yeah, Logan didn't take the breakup well. And then she's like, Logan, in the flashback, I can't stay with you. Someone is going to get killed with what you do with this whole being violent and burning fields and shit.
Right. Yeah, because we got the flashback of them like loading up like oil into the back of like Logan's car.
Mm-hmm.
Him
boys.
and the Casablancas boys. And they're like, yeah, we're just going to go like Pan High sucks in their field. But then it ended up that they go and do that to like a public pool.
Mm-hmm. And then Logan gets mad and he gets violent and he's like, my mom's dead. My dad killed my girlfriend. You're breaking up with me, blah, 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 blah. And Keith's like, you don't get to yell in my house. You're never coming back, and kicks him out.
Yeah. Way to go, Keith.
I'm like, yeah, Keith.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go back to the bus. And Duncan and Veronica are sitting on the bus and the Casablancas boys are behind them. And they're like, it stinks back here. Which is a key thing to remember for later. That is a clue. And we get the really bad voice ADR here.
Yeah. I forgot that was a big time clue when it happened.
Mm-hmm. And then,
But yeah. And then, because who's Veronica speaking to that it's like super off?
Meg.
Yeah.
That's on the way back. Right? It's on the way there.
Uh-huh.
Whatever. But his is really off too. Dick Casablancas.
Oh, there you go.
A lot of Dick's lines are done through ADR.
Yeah. Because what are they talking? Are they talking about Kristen Ritter because she gets on the bus? Mm-hmm. And then he's saying awful, gross things, which is fun.
Yes, and then Logan goes over to the Casablancas' house to go sleep with their stepmother.
Oh, we completely skipped over that part where she's introduced.
Oh yeah, but I mean, it's just them being gross by the pool.
Right. That's really just I wanted to highlight how gross it was because everything from them like saying stuff to like just the way it's shot. Yeah. It's like very TNA and awful.
It's gross. It's fucking gross.
Yeah, it's awful.
And then they go over to the baseball field, which you thought was maybe Petco Park.
Yeah, I was assuming it was Petco Park.
And they're talking to people, and then we get the introduction of what's her character's name in the show?
It is Gia.
Gia.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We find out about Gia, and she's new. And because her dad wants to be involved in politics, he sent her to public school.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm oh, this is so slimy.
Yeah.
And then Veronica's like, you know what, Duncan, this is really awkward. I'm going to go talk to Meg. I'm going to try. And it doesn't really work out. But then we get the flashback of Duncan visiting the coffee shop every day to watch her.
Uh-huh.
And then leaving a fortune cookie for her.
Yeah, he helps bus. He's a really nice, like, helpful guy, like, just coming and staying there. And he's just like, oh, hi, I'm over here, just sitting in my corner, reading my book.
Yeah.
But yeah, that fortune cookie thing was awful.
I was like, oh, are boys supposed to ask me out with fortune cookies?
In a wrapped gift box.
I expect jewelry if it's in a box.
Yeah. No, I feel like there should have been a better gift there.
Or like a gold fortune cookie.
Mm-hmm.
And what's in the fortune cookie? We don't know.
I know. We don't know. You will have great success.
And then Veronica meets a baseball player and tells them how her dad loves them.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, just hunky-dory.
Yeah, he's just like, oh, great. Yeah. They dish about baseball players' names that are supposedly, like,
on
real.
the team.
Yeah, that have played baseball before and stuff. Yeah. But I will say, just going back real quick, we did skip over the parents all being busted.
Busted?
The parents for the weed cookie stuff.
Oh. When did that happen?
Way before.
Oh, when Veronica sends the letter.
Yeah. And then they all like show up at the coffee shop.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Oh, really? Okay, so she sends them all like a call. They supposedly had got this call from Chim Chimmery to like come to the coffee shop and meet up. And then like they're all like talking at the table, like I'm just like, what is this about? Like blah blah blah. We thought we paid this guy off. What is he gonna ask for more money? And then Principal Clemens is in like another booth, like listening in, and he's like, yeah, I think that's enough.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Oh, really?
Absolutely, like it's completely gone.
Gotcha.
Interesting. When was that?
A few scenes ago. It was before. I think it was after the boys are being gross and before they get on the bus and all that.
Got it.
Yeah. Because once they figure out who it is, then they set them all up.
Yes, I remember them sending the letter. Right,
because they scratch Butter's name off the list. Then they realize that all the names to the people are the parents, and they're like, oh, the parents are part of Boatloads of Fun Corp. And
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. That was important. But I was like, I was looking at my notes and I was like, I don't remember that wrapping up. They had to have wrapped it up. I must have blacked out. I was sober, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we're at the baseball stadium, and then they're gonna leave, and the Casablancas boys are like, you know what?
Yeah, they're like, hey, we're gonna be driving back in a limo if you guys want to come in the limo. And like, they're like, yeah, okay, we'll go. But Veronica's like, well, I'm gonna try and patch things up with Meg. Like, I'm gonna give it one more shot, Duncan. Like, you go on the limo, I'll go on the bus.
And so Veronica tries with Meg on the bus, and Meg does not have it. She's not having it.
Yeah.
She's very anti-it.
And
then they stop at a gas station.
Yep.
And Veronica gets off, and she hears Lily running and giggling.
Yeah.
Ghost Lily.
Very creepy.
Because she came to save her. And she walks around the corner, and Weevil's there. And so she's talking to Weevil, and Weevil's like, oh, like, you just went back to the 09ers. Like, you just wanted them again, and giving her a lot of shit. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. But, like, you know, also, like, what exactly is she supposed to do?
Right, yeah. And it's not like she was doing all these other stuff altruistically. I think that's where they're, like, getting caught up.
And so then the bus leaves without her because Meg lies and says that everyone's on the bus.
Yes.
Even though she sees Veronica talking to Weevil.
Yep.
Which is just such a weird added note.
Yeah, no, it's just like, goodbye.
And so then...
It's a one way to, I guess, to explain that, you know.
Meg's done with her.
Yeah.
And so then Veronica walks around the front and Weevil rides off and she's like, shit. So she goes to call Wallace.
Right, because they are, you know, having had an awful conversation.
And then Weevil comes back for her.
Yeah. I wrote Mr. High Road.
And he put the helmet on her. So he's riding without a helmet. He must be over 18.
So he thinks.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably not. He might be.
He is.
Yeah, he's probably 18. They kind of round everybody's age up.
Yeah, because Veronica's 18th birthday was over the summer. And then...
So she went to school late.
Yeah.
Just tracking it.
I think everyone in that town did. I think they're all, maybe they did pre-K and then K, you know?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I waited till you were 6 to join kindergarten.
And so then they're following behind the bus and the limo and the bus. They catch up to the limo and they see smoke and they realize that the bus went over the cliff.
Yeah, like, Jesus. What a reveal.
And then the episode ends.
Yeah, like, my God.
I always, coastal highways always scare me because of that. And that's definitely...
Driving over the cliff.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah. No, it's, that is a truly, truly horrifying reveal that these kids went over a cliff. And that all of them are dead.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Yeah. It is bananas. Just a bananas thing to pull off at the end of this episode. And that is like...
And Duncan thought Veronica was
question
on
mark.
the bus.
Yeah. Which would be... oh, God. I can only imagine.
And then she pulls up with Weevil behind him. He's like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, yeah, but also, like, why is she with Weevil?
Yeah, that would be a big question too.
Also, how did the limo end up behind the bus?
Yeah, does the limo just following it?
Because then they would have seen her at the gas station.
Yeah, you're right. Throwing stuff at her.
Yeah.
Or at least they were like just told not to stop.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, fun inconsistency there.
So everyone's dead, maybe.
Yeah, like Jesus.
It's a weird start.
Yeah, much weirder mystery to throw on us than the like solving of a close murder. Like this is like magnitudes greater of like terrorist attack almost.
Yes, it is. And it just gets bigger and better from here.
Sure. Yeah.
In the seasons as it continues.
Yeah. It's just a bananas one.
It's so weird.
Yeah. It's a weird heightening that it caused a lot of dissonance between first and second season in my mind.
And it's also, yeah, it's like they establish the characters, so now they think they can do whatever they want to in the world. I feel like that happens a lot with television.
Yeah, there's like this big jump up in like scale. And it's like, that's not always best. So, yeah, strap in for season 2. It's a strange one.
It is. It's a doozy. And we will get plenty more of this love triangle, I'm sure.
Oh, God. Yeah, just not here for that relationship at all.
No, I like Veronica with Logan. It makes sense. He's problematic. He's a bad boy. It's fine.
Yeah. And they just, all the worst tendencies right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I get it, you know, he's being selfish because he's grieving and that's his mode. But at the same time, like, it's just hard to watch.
Yeah, it's painful.
It's all the charm is sanded away to boy who's awful.
Boy who is awful.
Conceited boy is awful.
That's true. All right. Plugs?
Yeah, sure.
You can find me at butreallythough.com. I do blog posts. I do professional and personal development coaching. You can also find me at But Really Though on YouTube and Facebook.
And you can find... Oh, did you want to talk about our other podcast?
Oh, yeah. And then we have another podcast. It's also called But Really Though. All of these, though, is spelled THO. Don't leave out the U, the GH. We don't want them. And we talk about conspiracy theories, urban legends, and tall tales. Sometimes truths, sometimes fictions, mostly a little bit of both.
Yeah, all kinds of fun stuff. And you can find this podcast on Twitter and Facebook at Mars Rewatch. Find me on Twitter also at Pilebread. Yeah, guess that's it.
Stay toasted, marshmallows.